I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
This is the exciting and new podcast. Here we go.
Let's go.
This week we got 3 news stories, and the title of those stories are, in no particular order, Identical Problem, Julie's Old Flame, and The Jinx. Original air date was November 10th, 1977.
I think I know which the titles refer to which people based on those names.
But did you know that before the episode? Do you think you could have put it together before the episode?
I probably could not have.
Yeah. Now, if you could, that would have been that would have been a better feat. All right, here's a quick description from IMDb about this episode. Identical twins share a ticket and confuse Doc. Julie's old heartthrob is on the cruise alone, but no longer married. And an old couple who honeymooned on the Titanic are thought to be a jinx as strange things happen to crew members. Yep. Mm-hmm. Already we have the Titanic references.
But it's been
Here
a long time. We have not talked Titanic.
I think it was like the first
second
2 episodes.
Yeah, the pilot
maybe.
and the first episode, there were Titanic jokes galore, and then nothing. And I'm very happy to.
I was happy too. I just hope that they didn't overdo it now and then they don't use it for a while.
I mean,
I'm afraid they're not going to use it for a while.
How many more Titanic survivors can they have on a cruise ship?
We don't necessarily need the survivors on there. We can just have the jokes, because some of the jokes, they hit sometimes.
Do they? Do they? I'd like to point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, was this the first episode where the lyrics were sung?
No, it's been a few episodes.
Has
now,
it really been?
Yeah.
Have we talked
because
about it already?
I believe you even brought it up when it was that episode.
I was shocked when I heard the lyrics, and I actually did the skip intro thing, because I don't usually do that. And I was like, whatever. And then I heard
because you're not also getting the pictures yet either.
Yeah, not getting the pictures of the people. And I heard the outro of the music with the vocals. I'm like, are they singing? And I had to rewind it and listen. And
I want to say you brought it up on a previous episode, if I'm correct.
Well, it's been a couple of weeks, so,
fresh back from his vacation.
I forgot that. Well, that sucks that I say that now, but
it is nice to hear. Yeah, Paul Williams lyrics.
Yes. Or Andy Williams. I think I said Andy Williams the other day when I was talking about
Andy Williams was the country singer, right? Yeah, I think, right?
He is, yes.
He's still alive?
No.
Paul Williams
was.
I know Paul Williams is still alive. Yeah.
He is still alive.
Yeah.
He must be an old man now.
Actually, just saw an episode of Give Me a Break recently, and
of what?
Give Me a Break, yeah, with Nell Carter, and
he's in it.
Paul Williams and Pat McCormick are both.
Oh, they're in it together. Are they playing the characters from Cannonball Run? Or
no? I wish it was. That would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
You mean Smokey and the Bandit?
What did I say?
Cannonball Run.
Man, I gotta stop drinking. It was that martini. It was the pre-podcast martini that I had that obviously has me all messed up here. So whatever I say the rest of this show,
this one's off the rails, people. This one is off the rails.
None of it matters.
We have a few guest stars this week.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Did we? This felt very.
It was light. It was a little light, but we did have I think we had one really big star. Wasn't in a lot of things, but is a very memorable face and voice. Sure. I think,
of course,
this is one of 2 episodes where he plays 2 different characters in his episode, so he's not going to be the same character when he comes back.
Oh, that's good.
Ray Bulger, he plays Horace McDonald. And you may know him from movies like Babes in Toyland or this other one.
I don't know
what's
from that one.
What's this other one called? I can't remember what it is.
He was in that wizard movie, Harry Potter, was it?
I think it was a little before Harry Potter. Yeah, it might have been
Gandalf.
A little before that.
Was he Gandalf? Before that, even.
Yeah, I think it's.
I guess was that even before Lord of the Rings was written? Maybe Hobbit.
It's got to be around the same time, right?
At the same time. Anyway,
we had to get our fact checkers on that one.
Wizard of Oz, Ray Bulger, the Scarecrow,
who
I remember growing up being one of the few remaining living cast members from the Wizard of Oz, even into the 80s. I think he died in like 87. So, I mean, that's 10 years past this episode. But
you'd see him in episodes of like The Partridge Family. He was in Battlestar Galactica.
Was he really the original? Obviously.
Yep. He was in Beretta. He was in Little House on the Prairie, Fantasy Island. And there's one episode
of Give Me a Break
of Different Strokes, one of my favorite shows. He was in it with another special guest, John Astin.
Nice.
So
the same episode.
They were in the same episode. That's a really good. It's like a Halloween spooky
raping
episode.
Dudley or anything like that?
There's no sexual.
No.
No sexual.
Good. The less of that, the better.
I mean, it's a Scarecrow.
Well,
And Gomez. Well, Gomez, maybe he did.
The Scarecrow? Come on, man. Those are scary things. Ray Bulger, I think the only other living Wizard of Oz person when we were growing up was the Wicked Witch of the West.
No, there was one other.
She did like the Maxwell House commercial.
I forget what his yeah. That's
you don't mean one of the Munchkins, do you? I'm not talking about Munchkins. I'm talking about like
there's one Munchkin that lived like to be almost 100 years old.
I don't mean like bit players. I mean like stars, talking roles.
She had problems getting roles in the future.
Yeah, I guess that's why she was doing coffee commercials.
I thought they were pretty good. I liked her coffee commercials. Yeah,
you got to get work anywhere you can. I see Shaquille O'Neal every other commercial. Every other commercial, Shaquille O'Neal.
How does he do? What does he do? He does that.
He does the
Papa
General.
John's. He does the General. He does Icy Hot.
Epson printer ink cartridges.
Yeah, which that makes a lot of sense.
I read something about it because I was kind of interested into why Shaquille O'Neal was.
I read something about this as well.
Apparently, he signed on to an agency, and they're giving him a bulk sum of money, whatever it is, $10 million a year.
I heard it was $50 million he's getting. Yeah, and then he has to do so many.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They just farm him out to everybody, and
somebody calls him up. That agency says, "Oh, how much can we get Shaquille O'Neal?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's going to cost you this." And
and Shaq's there.
Yeah,
and he's. I mean, it's crazy.
That's pretty. I think I would take that deal.
Oh, if you give me $50 million, I would do just about anything.
Once again, our Patreon is coming soon.
I was thinking about that the other night after our last podcast. We've never even given out our Twitter address.
I thought we did one time. Maybe we did.
Don't listen to me. I'm drinking.
Because I think we did once, and then one time you were like, "I'm not giving my Twitter."
Well, not my personal one, but we have a exciting.
I'll give out mine because I think I even have on my my bio that we started this podcast.
To say, like, I give a shit if everybody can tweet whatever the hell I don't look at Twitter anymore.
Oh, 106 of my followers.
Do you really have 106?
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Well, man, wait till these start actually showing up online. You're gonna have like 107. Someone's gonna say, "I got to follow that guy."
I think our exciting and new podcast Twitter handle has maybe like 4 or maybe 5 followers.
It's probably the 3 of us and one of our friends.
And I think we got one like spam where some like not suitable for work girl, cam girl or something like that.
I get those all the time, and I don't know how I get them. I do not know how I get them.
I agree. They follow you out of nowhere,
and they're the ones that show up on my phone just out of nowhere. Where it's like, Kimberly's following you. I'm like, who the hell is Kimberly? And then I go look.
Do I know any Kimberlys? Am I working with a Kimberly? Who is this?
All right, whatever.
All right,
I have more to talk about that, but we can talk about that later.
Want to get to it into the episode?
We're doing exciting and new. We have to talk about Love Boat, not other nonsense.
All right, we got Diane Canova. She plays Ellen, and I'm going to spoil it here. Helen Edwards is her last name. She's popular from a show called Soap.
I was very disappointed that they didn't actually get twins to play that role.
There's plenty of twins from that time. You think you could have got
plenty. You could have gotten somebody because there were definitely times it was silly how they couldn't show both of them on the screen. At the same
where she
time.
would be standing in the bathroom,
just passing things out to her.
Give me that.
Give me that. Just a hand reached out of the bathroom.
Whenever they saw each other, one was like behind another door or something like that. It was
very silly.
She's in. I also saw on her IMDb she's in something called Love Boat 2. It's a movie. So we have some other things.
That might be something we have to.
We're going to be looking into that as well.
My son was asking me what episode we were on today, and I said episode 7 of season 1. He's like, "So what's that mean?" I'm like, "That means we've done. This will be the 8th podcast we're doing because we did the pilot." And he's like, "And how many episodes are there?" I said, 250. He's like, "Really?" I said, "Listen, I'm not gonna tell you right now. We're gonna get to them all, but we're gonna do them until we stop doing them. One of us will probably die before we get to the finale." But
I mean, if we think about it, we're doing like one a week, and then we miss a week here and there because there's going to be people not able to be here or vacations and stuff like that. But like, so you're looking at 5
years easy, yeah.
That puts you in the mid 50s.
That's good though. That's good. I'll be my later 50s by then. The Sopranos one I listened to, it's only been going on for a year and a half, and they're going to be done. They might be done in.
They do one a week.
2021. Yeah.
Well, I guess
there's only like 90 something.
The most they had
episodes.
in a season was what, 13?
Yeah, and so there was 6 seasons that were full, and then like one that was split. But
8 and 8, I think that last one was something like that.
They're almost done. And it's almost sad,
though,
wow, this is only really going to go 2 years. So this Love Boat one will lap that.
There's nothing really they could do, right? Like,
well, I guess they'll do the movie when it comes out.
But I mean, like after that, there's not. Do you keep going on and just having like guests from the show still on? Like because they obviously didn't have
They have had
everybody on.
Almost everybody on. The only noticeable person they've not had on yet is Paulie Walnuts.
I don't think so. He just turned 79.
Else.
I saw a picture of him the other day. Just turned 79. But he's not. He doesn't look.
He's not in good shape.
He doesn't look. Like
I mean, Hesh was on recently, and Hesh has to be an old man.
I think Hesh has to be pushing 90.
Yeah, Junior was on also.
Junior's definitely in his 90s. Remember, he was on Gilbert. He was singing, and I think he was playing an instrument too, wasn't he?
They have those guys on, so
these guys are. He's incredible.
Yeah, no, but obviously Paulie Walnuts is the one. They even had David Chase on. Chase? Yeah.
David Chase, he was on. I didn't know he was on.
They did like a special episode with him on it. Anyway,
did we talk about the Saints or no?
It was no. They just talked about the show. They had like a bunch of questions from fans. All right, let's talk about the Love Boat.
Okay, got a few more guests real quick.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I need to be corralled tonight.
David Hedison played Buddy Stanfield, and he's in a bunch of Bond movies.
Yeah, I did not like when I saw him. I was like, I know this guy from something, and then
he
as soon
does
as I
have that evil,
but
bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's Felix, and
he has
he's a
that
good
look
guy.
in this. I think he has that look in this
because Jeffrey Wright, he plays Felix in the Daniel Craig Bond movies, but he's playing that character.
Okay,
this guy Buddy's playing that in a couple Roger Moore, I believe. James Bond.
I saw he was in Sean Connery one as well.
Sean Connery?
But he was in the 70s and 80s. I think so.
Yeah,
because I think he was in some Roger Moore ones as well. He's also in 7 episodes of The Love Boat.
Oh.
He plays
different characters?
6 different characters.
So one
of them is a double up. I don't know which one it is. So
it's got to be this guy, right?
It's got to be exciting.
He's going to come back and
you think so? Like he comes back and doesn't answer the question again. Spoiler alert.
Now, what happens when he comes back on the ship again and Julie sees him and it's not the same character? She's not going to be as runaway as she was this time.
Let me tell you, Julie's had a lot of lovers because we're going to see quite a few throughout the
as we've discussed
10 seasons.
This is her show. This is based on
didn't she write a
her
novel,
memoirs,
or
whatever?
Memoir,
so it's her story. That's why so many of these, when the crew's involved, she's the main crew person.
Yeah.
I mean, we get an Isaac here and there and a Doc here and there, but
and that's Julie why everybody on the ship knows her name too.
Yeah.
Isaac, can you give me another drink? It's like, how do you know everybody's name? It's like, what? And then all of a sudden we get this Vince. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Vince out of nowhere, new crew member who almost broke his neck falling down the stairs.
And Gopher not helping him or
not
assisting
even
him at all.
Anything. The guy spilled 2 stories down a spiral staircase and just he kind of landed and was like
he was at the top of those steps too.
He kind of just shook it. He shook it off. He just said, where was this mail going?
Harriet Nelson, she's known from the TV show Ozzie and Harriet, which I learned that ran 14 seasons.
Yeah, that
436 episodes. I've heard of it, never watched it. I mean, if you showed me a picture, I might be able to guess.
I probably wouldn't even be able to pick that picture out. Like if you showed me a picture of Leave It to Beaver or
everybody knows
Car
the
54, Where Are You?
Beaver was on Married with Children.
True. There was that renaissance of the Beav in the late 80s there where they had a new show.
There was also that, I don't know what it was, the new Leave It to Beaver or something was called like that, but that was actually, I think it ran for a few seasons as well. I remember watching that. That was like,
I feel like we've discussed that. Maybe not on this podcast.
On our other podcast, which we haven't named yet.
On the unnamed podcast.
The podcast which cannot be named.
Ozzie and Harriet, that show I have nothing. I know nothing about
1952 to 1966.
But that's like Lucy era and Honeymooners era,
but I think that was that was the more wholesome side of.
But I know those shows.
That was separate beds and stuff like that back then.
Yeah, Lucy got pregnant in twin beds.
But
how'd that happen?
Were they not able to say pregnant? Right? Is that
she was like with child or maybe knocked up? Did they say?
Yeah, we're going to allow knocked up, not pregnant, but knocked up.
So dumb.
All right, I got one more person here.
Really?
Alana Stewart. She plays Mrs. Stanfield, and
who's that?
She's in 2 episodes, 2 different characters.
Who's that?
You'll know who she is. I'll point her out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a guest star. What?
You'll see. It's part of the story. I don't want to spoil it too much.
Is there really a part of it that I missed?
No, I think you know it, but you're just not picking up on it right now. You got it, right?
I didn't even realize it.
You'll know it when you see her.
Oh, okay.
Brian's got it. Yeah. See. Yeah. No more for him. He's good.
You're going to have to wait a while.
I'm just trying to think of what the plots were. And I got to say, this is a weird one because...
I'll give it to you again. Her name is Stanfield.
His
name is Stanfield.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, was she somebody? That person that played that role? The actress?
I didn't know her in anything that she was in, but she's just been 2 episodes.
Was she mentioned in the credits?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
mentioned in the credits, and I wanted to give her a little shout out because she's in 2 episodes.
She seemed like a glorified extra. That's why I kind of didn't even.
She was probably one of the people's girlfriends or something like that, and they just like
Stubing's girlfriend.
Can you put my girl on? Well, before we start the episode, we usually ask if there were any Titanic references or jokes. So I guess we could point them out that there was a lot. I mean, obviously, I just told you in the plot.
Part of the plot was
the Titanic. So
he makes a reference that he said, at one point they say something about swimming, and he's like, that's how we got to the lifeboat or something like that. They swam to a lifeboat.
Then he started giggling like he was lying to her. Right?
They made the Titanic sound like it was a game show. Like, everybody get to the lifeboat and you get $1,000. It was very strange, and
it was, yeah.
Just looking at the boat on the screen here, it makes me think that the end of the episode. I'm getting so far ahead. I'll get to that later.
Don't forget it.
I'll get to it later.
Don't forget
it. It was something that troubled me after it was all said and done.
Don't forget it. Try to remember it. Yeah,
that's fine.
All right.
Do we have writers and directors?
We had one director.
Oh, the whole thing was done by one
director.
Now, was this a first?
This was not a first. There was
one director.
I think 1 or 2 other times we had one director. There was multiple writers. I didn't look at them.
I think each episode usually, or each contained episode is done by one writer.
There was also like
one
a couple
director,
of those episodes had 2 writers for each little mini episode too. We start out with our opening scene here with Doc and Julie basically joking about being like into each other, kind of like hitting on each other.
He's got his arms around her. Now this girl,
and this is our soap girl,
the
Diane
twins.
Canova. Yeah, the twins, Helen and Ellen.
Now,
who
I have no problem.
First of all, they're on
this
this ship for one ticket.
She actually looks
cool.
looks like my neighbor Julie. When I saw her, I was like,
she's cute.
Wow, I'm like, is this my neighbor Julie from when I grew up? Now she's cute. She's definitely cute. Yeah. She is not a 10.
Doc's smitten immediately.
Doc is like bowled over, and I was like, really, Doc? You're not going to wait for the rest of the crew to get, or the rest of the passengers to get on board before you are sinking your claws into this young girl, and she is young.
Yep, and we find out that she's in the Aloha deck, cabin 351.
Is that important?
And it's just important that she just announces it right in front of Doc, so anybody can know where they're going to be.
Doc is like, mental note, 314 Aloha deck.
Which was creepy here because Doc said, "Call me Adam. I'll call you Eve."
But her name's not Eve, right? It's like
no, it was Ellen and Helen, and I think that was Ellen, the one that needed her glasses.
Yeah, I'm glad they put one of them in glasses so we could tell who was who during this very confusing episode.
It did help a lot.
Played by one actress.
Yes,
she very dumb. Oh yeah, we've already talked about the fact that they should have hired twins. Why didn't they get the girls from what was that show? Double Trouble.
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
What's her? Peggy Bundy's.
Wasn't that more the
Peggy
80s,
Bundy's
though?
sisters, right?
Yeah,
like they're her younger sisters in real life.
I like that.
They're real. They're
I remember Double Trouble. Yeah.
Segals?
Sagles? Sagles?
Not Steven Seagal, right?
Seagal. Katie Seagal.
Seagal.
All right, we're getting off topic here. We got the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow and
Mrs. Nelson. Harriet. I kept calling her Ozzy when I was thinking about it earlier.
It's Harry.
It's Harriet.
Harriet. Yeah. Ozzy and Harriet.
Ozzy and Harriet here. But actually, we got the Scarecrow and Harriet. And they find out, or Gopher finds out that this is their second cruise. The first cruise was the Titanic.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Gopher trips over some luggage and sprains his wrist. Now,
he hurts it pretty bad.
Now listen, 25-year-old Andy would have laughed at this asshole falling over these bags and hurting himself. 50-year-old Andy, I'm like, I'm out a week at least. I'm like, I fell 2 weeks ago, and my hand is still bothering me from falling from 2 weeks ago and catching myself on boulders, I might add, Brian.
We find out
still hurts.
We find out that the Scarecrow and Mrs. Nelson were married on the Titanic.
TV show, Scarecrow, Mrs. Nelson.
I think the Falcon and the Snowman.
It should be a show.
We find out
Scarecrow, Mrs. King. That's Scarecrow, Mrs. King.
Yes. We find out they're going to
one of the angels.
I like that. I remember that
Kate
show.
Jackson or
one of the
Julie Jacqueline Smith. One of them.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We find out they're going to Puerto Vallarta.
Did they actually say that right here?
Yeah, and
because I know this dude says it at one point.
Yeah, they mention it, and that's been basically every episode so far has been Puerto Vallarta.
I guess their cruise is probably the same schedule every time. Cabo,
Maybe
Puerto Vallarta.
I know they change it up because they go to Australia one time.
Eventually,
and
it becomes
Japan
like
and stuff like that.
It becomes a big deal where they're going. So anyway, Julie sees her ex-beau, and she runs screaming away.
Oh, that was creepy.
And everybody saw it. She ran really right past the dock, right past the captain, away from Gopher in the dock, I think.
It was awkward. I never seen, in all our all 7 episodes, Julie has not been like that. But she was scared, it seemed like, right?
But this is, the 5th relationship that she's had on the boat since we've started this show. She's a player, that Julie.
She gets around. We then we find out that
Helen
and Ellen are twins. This is their ta-da moment, basically.
Filmed well here because they're both in the scene together in their cabin showing their faces, but one's in a mirror. And I have to think, I'm no expert on 1970s filming, but the fact that her face is in the mirror and her head never turns, that's like a screen with her face.
I think where the wall is, there's like 2.
A split screen, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
But this is the only time you really ever see them together on the screen. Ever.
Yeah.
You never ever see them again.
This way, then this way.
Yep.
We find out that Helen wants to meet guys on the cruise, and Ellen wants to vacation, and Ellen is the one who needs to wear her glasses.
If you have identical twins,
you'd think they would both,
and you name them Helen and Ellen, that's bad.
I feel
parenting.
bad for Helen.
That's bad parenting. That's bad. You
Ellen,
name them
Ellen. I'll let it slide. I think
you give them unique names so that they're something different about them. There's nothing different about them. Even their names are the exact same with a letter missing.
Or when the family's all named from the same letter. Like they have 9 kids, and every kid starts with the letter Q.
Don't even get me started.
Can't get Andy started, so we're going to continue on.
I've met some people like that. That's awful. Our friends Brent and Bruce are from children from Bonnie and Bruce. They're all bees.
They're all bees.
Oh, yeah, I remember having an issue with that even back when I was a youngster.
You know how I feel about it.
Bees? Right? And she was like, we thought it'd be cute. I'm like, it is not cute.
In our family, the boys are bees and the girls are C's.
Ugh.
Which
is funny because I know all the boys and they're all actually C's.
We find out about the wrist alarm here.
Really?
And,
but that wasn't on purpose. Was it on purpose?
Not on purpose from Christine. It was me tricking her.
Oh, God.
What happened? Did I miss something?
The fact that they named their kids with specific letters.
So it was the names are special, or were you like, let's see, we need a B for this?
Oh, no. Yeah, the names were all, except for my first daughter, the other 2, they came up after they were born. We didn't even have names for them.
So they're just daughter 1 and daughter 2. Just like,
baby boy.
Baby girl.
Baby boy.
Wait, were you allowed to use pronouns?
Well, I think at that point they have not identified as anything, so they're identifying as what they were born as.
They. So
they?
We'll go with they.
Yeah, okay. They works. My older son almost went home as baby boy. Baby boy last name.
I like that.
Because we could not agree on a name at all.
That would have been interesting.
I thought we thought our older son was going to be a girl. To this day, he would say like, "You still think that?" But
sometimes
we had a girl name picked out.
Do you want to share that or?
Nah, that doesn't matter.
Okay, I was just curious.
But
off air. If you get me off.
It's not that interesting. It's Ellen Helen.
I like
that
it.
was
I
the
like
child's
it.
name. Ellen
Helen.
Yeah. So when he was born, and he was born a male, we were like, oh.
Like, this is unexpected.
It was very unexpected. And we spent 2 full days, and we went through every name. And when you're a guy and you're already 29, I was already 30 when my son was born, and you've met a lot of guys in your life.
You don't want to name him after anybody.
The answer to everyone is, I know a blah.
You're
he's
like,
an
he's
asshole.
a
Yeah. It was very, very tough to finally settle on the name of my son, which is funny because he's named after one of my best friends, but he's not named after one of my best friends. He just happens to share a name. We just decided that name didn't infuriate either me or her.
Yeah.
And
that's when you said that, I didn't even catch that. Because I know your kid's name, and I know.
Well, it's just funny that I remember when my buddy's Mom called me to say congratulations. She was like, "Where'd you come up with that name?" And I jokingly said to her, "We named him after the father." And she obviously did not get that joke. She was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, never mind." Good times.
That's a good joke. And then for it to go over somebody's head makes it even funnier, I think.
She was older. Yeah. Different generation.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I don't think we could have them talk about.
All right. So Ellen and Helen are sharing a room. And,
they have the alarm, so they have to come back as soon as the alarm goes off.
On a 1950s style wristwatch. Those things have alarms? Like, really? Does that thing have an alarm like that?
I was curious about that, too.
I was like, really? That thing makes that kind of sound?
That was high tech for that watch. That watch.
And listen, as we go through this episode, I would like to point out that why does the hornier of the two sisters always seem to like make her break for Doc 30 seconds before the watch is supposed to buzz?
She has to know that
8 hours or whatever their time. I don't think it's 12 and 12. It's just like, they both have to sleep, so they each get 8 hours.
Why didn't they just do?
Or whatever
this is your day.
Yeah,
and this is your day,
or not 8 hours. What is that? 6 hours each out, and then they sleep for 8, or whatever that math works out to 24 hours. But oh my god,
but they had to be
every time. She's like,
why wouldn't you make it to why was it like at 9 o'clock? That the night's probably just starting 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
and it's like
one was like during the middle of dinner. She's like, I didn't even get to finish dinner. It's like you did not take that into consideration when you
they
set
ordered
your
dinner.
watch.
They ordered dinner. She left, and then the other one comes. We'll get to that in a few minutes.
She's like got her hand on Adam's dick, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And he's like, "What am I going to do about this here?" And then the other sister comes by. He's like, "I still got this thing going on."
I don't know if
here.
Doc did something. Maybe he was lighting 2 cigarettes. Maybe he had already done something.
Oh, so silly. So bad planning. When you're planning this, and listen, obviously it's a TV show. It's written to be silly, but no one's going to recognize you if one of you says, "I'm going to the front of the boat," and the other one's going to go to the back of the boat. No one's going to be like, "Wait a minute, aren't you on the front of the boat right now? Wear different clothes,
like,
put your hair up,
put
your hair up different." Identical twins, yes, to your friends, but to
again, I'm going to
strangers.
jump ahead. There's something that bothered me too about
good.
When the hornier one left because the other one was knocking on the window, telling her it's time to switch. Yep. And like the horny one was like making out with Doc.
I'd be like, "Go to the fucking buffet, man."
So she leaves, and Doc's just sitting out there like, probably like he's blue balls again. He's sitting out there.
Doc with blue balls again.
Why does Ellen walk right where Helen just was?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Walks right by him, and he grabs her, and she's like, "How dare you?" It's like, you saw what was going on here. You left this guy with a rager, and now you're just going to walk away from him.
I did not understand that. Okay, there's more to that, though, so we'll get to that in a few.
Also, you might want to explain why they're hiding.
Well,
did I mention they're using one ticket? Yeah.
So this is 7 episodes into the Love Boat, and this is like, what, the third time we've got either a stowaway or a sharing a room unauthorized
or a
kind of thing.
Coochie.
Well, I was thinking of Charo
she was one of them, yeah.
Strip stowaway, and wasn't there another time when they were sharing a room and they shouldn't have been? Or
no, that was John Ritter came on played a woman.
Right,
yeah, but that's it's similar. I would put that with that category.
I wonder if they have in the writers' room of the Love Boat in the 70s a checklist of things we can't go back to this trope until.
There's so many tropes in this episode.
But I'm going to say,
too.
like, so we've had the identical twins. Does that come up again? Are they like 4 years in? They say, "We haven't done the identical twin thing in like 3 years. Can we do that again?"
Like the Double Mc commercial was big, and they're like, "Let's do it again."
You got to know that they are checking things off, saying, "Hey, listen, John, you're going to be writing this next episode. You got to stay away from old jokers and twins and transvestite."
That's why Cesar Romero hasn't been on yet. Is that what you're telling me?
But we've had the
Milton Berle,
the Milton Berle one, and the John Laverne's
Sherman
dad
Hemsley
one, and we've had these old guys as kind of like the Joker guys. And Ray Bulger's kind of a Joker on this too. I guess he's just like the cute old man. You're like, you're the
he was actually even she was they were a lovable couple. I'm going to give him that. Yeah. Here we have one. I know I've mentioned this before. My favorite, the Bon Voyage scene.
Yes.
And here we see a few people. We see.
Well, luckily, everybody that we care about was right there on the screen together. The twins, obviously, only one of them.
We see Helen at that time.
Why did the other twin go to the other side of the boat and no one would have noticed that she was throwing confetti halfway down a boat? She's stuck in the room going,
waiting for the alarm to go off. We had the Scarecrow there, Harriet, and Julie's mystery man. And then we see the captain for some reason. It was just. splitting.
Do we
over
know
to
that he's a
splitting
mystery
over
man
the
yet?
next
Do we know
scene.
what Julie's up to yet?
Not
We don't.
really.
Oh, now we do. Now we do. 'Cause now
yeah.
she's looking at the book. She's going to see his name.
First of all, Gopher with he hurt his wrist and he's got a sling.
Listen,
come
man, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to deny a guy his injury.
But isn't a sling more for a shoulder?
Now
or
she's
for the
got his
arm?
picture still in her wallet.
I thought that was weird. I
And
know they
it's-
said it was
and
3
it's
years.
not like a picture of the two of them together. It's like a headshot from an actor's resume or
even
something
like, you know,
that.
a picture you took in like 8th grade. Yeah.
Very silly that she would carry that around still. She's carrying a torch for this guy, yet we've seen her
She
interact with other men.
She
on
looks
the
up his
show.
room. We find out he is in. Well, first, he's a 452nd guest on the registry, I guess, that she's looking at there, or whatever
Well,
it's
they said
called.
something like 600 people on the boat.
He was the 452nd guest, and he's in PR 239.
PR. I wonder what PR stands for.
I'm thinking something.
Is that some kind of penthouse?
There was a Riviera deck. I don't know if that might
maybe.
Porta Riviera.
These two girls walking down the steps going on the boat. These are. I want to know them better.
They are beautiful.
I saw them walking down the steps. I'm like, I hope we get to know them better. And like, no, now we're going to.
Wait, did we mention that she crumbled up the picture?
Oh, and
of
she threw it in the
she
ashtray.
took it out of her wallet, which is weird because it's been in her wallet for 3 years. Spoiler, we find that out a little bit later. That it's been in her wallet for 3 years, but then she sees him on this boat, and that makes her want to throw the picture away. I just thought that was weird. No.
It was very strange that she took that. She knew she had it in the wallet too.
She went right to it. Yeah.
And now's the time to get rid of it. I mean, Julie's had other guys on this boat. So
Julie's going to see many more. Julie could have Doc.
But didn't she have other ex-boyfriends already come on this boat with her? Maybe not. Maybe it's just other guys.
It's hard
on
now
there.
because I'm starting to remember episodes that we've watched.
We have not
to
actually.
do this, and then episodes I've watched in my free time. And
You're
yes,
doing free time Love Boat
no,
watching?
in the past, I've watched a lot before we started this podcast.
I don't accept this
Where I started to
answer,
get this
man. This is no good.
Where I started to get this idea. That's where the idea came from.
Wait, you were doing this independently of the podcast?
Yeah, this show's on MeTV, Channel 2. I stopped watching it on MeTV now because that gets too confusing. But
You're like, wait, Jefferson?
no,
What's he
because
doing on this
I
boat?
think in the last episode I said something. I was like, wait, wasn't there? And you looked at me weird. I was like, oh, that was from something else I watched.
I'm many episodes ahead. Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, I've seen a lot of episodes. I can't say I've seen every episode, but I have seen a lot of episodes. But like, I watch these now. It's not like I remember them. So it's been a while.
Oh God, I would hope not. But I haven't watched the Love
I
Boat
do know
since
we
back
see a
in
lot
the
of great guest stars over the years, and I'm looking forward to some of
That's
them.
why this one's such a disappointment. Only 7 episodes in, and you're already on a aged Ray Bulger, and who knows him? I mean, no one knew Ray Bulger at this time, and then a bunch of nobodies really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in
you've-
77, wasn't The Wizard of Oz on once a year?
Yeah, it was like the Thanksgiving special or
Yeah.
something like that. But you've had episodes where you had like Loretta Swit and Mr. Brady, and all
We've
these.
had Marsha Brady.
And
who
and
was she?
Epstein,
Epstein,
and
that's right. I couldn't remember.
And
who she was,
Chachi and Christy McNichol, and like now you're doing an episode with like.
did we have
nobody.
Tom Bosley yet?
I haven't seen Tom Bosley. No, not yet.
Damn.
But we
I
had
must have
Mr.
You know why?
DeFazio, Laverne
Again,
DeFazio's dad.
You know what I did watch recently?
One with Tom Bosley on, I take, or you
No,
just
not even.
watched
It's not even.
Happy
I
Days?
watched the Happy Days episode where Arnold's burns down.
Oh, I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, I think
that
it's like
like-
season 7.
I was gonna say it was
something like
Richie
that,
and
it was.
Ralph
I think it was
still around?
Richie's. It's Richie's last season because he's making out with Lori Beth in the car when Arnold and she sees the fire in the rearview mirror.
Wow,
It's
I have
just-
no recollection of that. And I watched Happy
and that's
Days
when
up until
and
the
that's
end.
when Fonzie and Al become partners.
Oh yes,
And they open up the new Arnold's. They keep the name Arnold's. But
Well, they have to. I never understood the name Arnold's because you had two different owners. You had Karate Kid, and you had
yeah, you had Al, and you had what was Karate Kid's name?
I mean, besides Pat Morita, what was his name on the show? Was it Arnold? Was his name
he
Arnold? And then when Al Del Vecchio was
But
it
wait,
Al Del
but
Vecchio when he took
wasn't Pat Morita in the later seasons?
over? I thought he was first. Man. I'm not doing a Happy Days
bad.
podcast. I'm just telling you right now.
That's also another 10 season.
That's
show.
too much, and that's 26 episodes a
But
season.
Also, that's also half-hour episodes. So
Yeah,
actually,
that's
20-minute episodes. We could.
oh, Brian's got
Arnold.
Pat Morita was named Arnold.
So then Arnold.
I do
what,
believe
does
he
it
was-
say what years he was on the show?
He was on it early, I think. He was the first owner of the show, the diner.
Before Fonzie took over as being the
Well,
cool
before
man.
Al took over.
But I was talking about when Fonzie took over as being like I saw like something on Twitter the other day where it said, where you're a high school senior and your best friend's a 27-year-old man. And he's probably fucking your mom.
Well, that sounds like the premise of like Stranger Things or something like that. Wasn't that going on with Billy?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I saw a lot of Stranger Things this last week.
Oh, so you're like
not on purpose.
1, 2, or 3.
Yes,
all of them. Nice.
My 10-year-old nephew had control of the television.
75 to 83.
Yep. So he was in the first 83.
That seems like a long.
He came back in some other.
Did he really come back?
I think he did. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he had to have come back in something because 83. That's near
almost
the end.
towards the end. Yeah.
Al was in a lot more. Al was in season 7.
Well, doesn't he end up marrying somebody? Fonz's sister.
I apologize, people. I brought that up. I brought that one up. Brian, where were we at with time?
Oh, we're probably like an hour in. We have like 10 minutes of the show.
42 minutes.
Get the hell out of here. All right, we got to like start busting this thing out.
All right, where are we at here, Andy?
Luckily, the plot is very thin throughout this entire show.
We got Julie coming over to, this is
the horny sister.
This is Helen, horny Helen.
Horny
so
Helen,
we got
good.
that.
Nice.
And she needed some suntan lotion.
And Julie just brought it to her. No charge? That's like
is that included?
$15, $20 charge nowadays on a boat just to bring you something.
She asked Julie what she wanted a date with Robert Redford.
Robert Redford. I guess at this time Robert Redford
and
was probably...
Julie said no or something like that. And she
said, I wish.
Would you rather have a date with a pillow? It was weird.
Yes,
it was a weird interaction.
She didn't say that. So Ray Bulger and his wife, Harriet, are playing cards, gin,
and they order some orange juices, and then he asks for one with a little bit of vodka in it to kill the taste.
Kill the taste. And Gopher showing off his sling.
Yeah,
his sling changes colors during this episode.
I had that written down too. I was like, first of all, he doesn't need the sling. Second of all, he has multiple colored slings. Like, come on. I'm sorry.
Doc recommended
I'm
that.
sorry.
That sling is an ugly looking
The
sling.
eye patch was a little much too. We'll get there later.
But my favorite thing hasn't even happened yet. So now Isaac goes to bring the drink, and he has to walk around.
Why does he do this? Why does he not say, excuse me?
He's like, I am the bartender. I am the waiter in this situation.
He didn't even try to get through there. He just goes up on the pool, falls in, laughs, and makes a joke
and they're laughing at him. He seems to be enjoying it.
He was laughing too, but then he hurt his neck.
Yeah.
And he said something about who ordered the orange juice.
So now we go to Doc's. Captain Stubing signing something. What's he signing? What was that about?
It was like he's like money, and he's like, is it going to cost money? Should we bill it to the medical? It was
so this is business
budget or whatever. Yeah, Julie busted in his room to talk to him
for Doc advice, right? She wants Doc advice, and the captain.
She was going to leave because the captain was there, and the captain's like, no.
Doc just like puts her up on the.
I wanted to say something about how he grabbed her too. I had that written down.
Puts her up on the examination table.
Grabbed her by the waist. He was like,
"This is the start of a porno right now."
Yes,
These two guys have surrounded this woman.
I was waiting for the music to come in. It's like,
wow. There is definitely a Love Boat porno out there, and it is definitely this scene right here.
Yeah, easy. This is easily at least 5 of the scenes in the movie.
But the captain's 50 years younger, probably. That's right, I'm a captain. So anyway, Julie's talking about her issue where she fell in love with this guy in Paris and followed him back to L.A., quit her job at the airline. I guess
the captain knew who it was, too. He was like, I saw you run away.
Yeah, well, because she ran past him.
Tall, 3-piece suit, probably a lawyer. And she's like, oh, my God, how did
Julia,
you know?
She said she worked for the airline. Was she like a stewardess or something like that?
That's what I'm guessing. I don't know if it's ever been said or whatnot, but she said she quit the airline, sold her car, and moved to L.A. to be near this guy.
And
what's the problem with this guy?
Then they find out that the guy's married, and she was still banging him twice a week. She says that. She's like, I got him twice a week.
He was the best thing to her 2 nights a week, and then that's when they were like, he's married.
Adam knows. Doc knows the drill because Adam's on 4 marriages, so he's like, that's how I did it.
So Julie comes in here asking
every next wife is the twice a week until he bailed on the first one and then married that one, and then it continues on.
Julie's in here asking for advice, but she doesn't allow it.
Doc gives you a 2-day-a-week trial run, and then he's like, oh, yeah, you're marriage material.
So she's asking for advice, but every time the captain tries to say something, she basically just talks over him, giving herself her own advice.
It's like this podcast.
That's a TV.
It's like me talking over Jason.
That's a TV trope right there, though.
Oh, totally. And she's like, she thanks him for the advice, and then walks out.
And then the captain, Doc, makes a joke about it.
Doc says, good job with all that advice that you didn't dispense. And now here comes Gopher and Isaac into Doc's office, and Isaac is hurt.
And they talk about Isaac getting the Jinx.
He's got the Jinx.
And then that faded out to like, you knew that was a commercial.
It was definitely a commercial, but they don't usually do it that way where it's the freeze frame kind of thing. So now
freeze frame's usually at the end, right?
Yes, before the credits. So now Isaac is wearing the
so we got Isaac
the neck
Gopher
brace
and
of
Doc.
someone that's gotten whiplash.
Yeah, the neck brace was a bit much, and then he had to wear the bow tie over top of it.
Well, now you're spoiling what my favorite part of the entire episode was when Isaac shows up later with the bow tie over the neck brace. I was like,
I'm sorry, I had no idea that was what it was.
They don't give him a break on not having to wear the bow tie when his neck.
He's got to work,
really
but Isaac need the.
This actually shows the lack of medical care on this cruise ship, and at one point, I know that. The captain says something about make sure you've made your Blue Cross payments, but there's no fill-ins for any of these people when they're hurt. Isaac, Doc, Isaac, Gopher, and Julie all get hurt on this cruise, and yet they are still expected to work while in a sling, and eye patch, and neck brace. I mean, like these people are hurt.
These weren't like little little cuts or anything.
They are
like
hurt, and they're expected to show up for work every day and do their job while unable to see or
on that cruise where the boat tipped.
Oh yes.
Brian
was on a very famous boat. It made the news.
You were on it?
Oh yeah. Our cabin steward, his cart landed on top of him and busted them all up. They gave him 1 day. He showed up the next day. And he is battered, physically battered. But he was just like, they gave me 1 day.
I don't think those guys get paid too much anyway. It's all tips probably. They're like you are.
I believe the show people, like the comedians and stuff that do like
when they're working on there.
I heard they get good money. Yeah.
Well, but that's different. Those guys, the people that like clean the rooms and stuff,
yeah, they're probably getting.
First of all, they're from foreign countries, so they're not probably even beholden to any U.S. working regulations.
We're getting into your politics again. I know you wanted me to reel you back.
Did I? No, I'm just saying.
No, you were going to get into your politics.
No,
I think if you kept going.
I wasn't. I was just going to say, like, I don't think all those cruise ships are registered in different countries. None of them are registered as American ships because then they would have to work under U.S. working regulations. Minimum wage being whatever it is at the time. And they're not going to pay these people that kind of money. I don't mean these people. I mean the entire boat. Those people.
So here we get a random.
So Ray Bulger and Harriet show up. Scarecrow and Harriet show up.
They're worried about Isaac, so they're checking on him, seeing how he's doing, and Doc gets introduced to them, and they leave, and Doc's trying to tell them that it's not a jinx, and he's walking around the office as the Scarecrow comes running back into the room.
I totally forgot about Doc's injury. I totally forgot about that as I was making fun of the eye patch and the neck brace and the sling. I forgot Doc has his.
He gets slammed in the head
on his head.
Right here, he gets slammed in the head, and I guess you can almost say he got a concussion. Maybe.
I mean, he drops to the floor.
Yeah. He was done, and once again, nobody went over to him.
Well, everybody else is hurt.
I know,
Isaac can't bend over
but they walked in there. They should have at least been able to go over to him.
Watch him slump to the ground.
Here we get a quick shot of the boat, and then Julie's about to get on the elevator. A bunch of people walk off the elevator. Again, an elevator scene, so I was excited for that.
And again,
Julie gets on the elevator, and guess who's on the elevator?
No awareness of who walks on a ship or who walks up on an elevator without looking into the elevator before you walk in. Her head is down.
I know she's reading the piece of paper that she has in her hand, but it was not that important. Especially with all those people coming off the elevator, you would have been paying attention to what was going on.
You make an effort to.
So Julie just turns
around
when stands in front of Mystery Man, and it looks like it's going to be just the two of them on the elevator until a surprise third. Again, this could have been another scene from the Love Boat porn.
Yes.
And another 2-on-1.
Poor Julie. She is really getting abused on this episode. So here's Captain Steubing. He gets on there and he's saying, have you figured out?
He's asking her all about her problem.
Did you figure out your problem?
And she starts talking like this.
Yes, I figured it out.
Everything's good, sir. How you doing? Yeah, we're good, sir. Do you have a cold? And he sends her to go up to see Dr. Brecker.
And she should immediately get off this elevator and be like, no, I'll wait till later. No, don't worry about it. But
she pushes him and the door closes. Everything's fine. She doesn't see her. She backs into the elevator. It goes up to the next floor slowly. As the door opens, she walks out. And guess what?
This dude has never looked up. He's never actually looked at her. And he says, I recognize that perfume.
Now, Is there one perfume per person? I don't think so.
Julie's got the special perfume. Plus, they met in Paris, which I don't know anything about France, but isn't that like a perfume place? Like there's probably a million people wearing a million different kind of perfumes. Maybe that's why it's so special, because Julie's wearing that special version of Chanel number 7.
I don't know what it would have been either. It was just odd that like that's
what he recognized. He knew she was on. He had some kind of peripheral vision saying,
he seems like he would be the kind of guy who could get that kind of knowledge too.
Yes.
Like right. Like
now we never find out. He doesn't go on this boat to meet her.
It's never really said.
He's going to Puerto Vallarta
for a business meeting, and then he said something about he needed to be away from the phone to
because that explains why he didn't actually that's why he didn't actually fly to Mexico over
he took the boat.
The 2-hour flight as opposed to the 10-day cruise to do his business. Although I guess he could do the business and then get back on the cruise and kind of enjoy himself. It wasn't like he was taking 10 days to get to his meeting.
Yeah,
he would have been there in a couple days and then he could relax maybe.
He doesn't seem like the kind of relaxes.
Buddy, huh? He doesn't look like a buddy.
Yeah, and he does not look like he relaxes much.
Yeah, when you're like a high-powered lawyer, you are not Buddy. You change that name.
Yeah, that's not getting you clients. Who's your lawyer?
Buddy. Better call Buddy.
But remember when you thought of Saul Goodman, that you were like, that's not a cool name until you found out how it became.
I gotta be honest. The other day when I heard that he collapsed on the set of Better Call Saul, I was actually checking my phone all day on the beach to see if Bob Odenkirk was
First
actually
of all,
okay.
It happened, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. Figured heart attack. But everybody on Twitter was tweeting about Bob Odenkirk, like celebrities, like I hope he's okay. I was like, that seems weird because you don't usually see that right away unless somebody's like, oh, somebody has cancer. Then you see a bunch of people.
Does it just show how awesome Bob Odenkirk is?
I think that's what I think it was.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I don't think anything I've seen, it's always been he's a good guy.
I mean, it's Bob Odenkirk. Everybody wants to, like, if Tom Cruise collapses on the set, half the people are going to be like, good. I mean, I like Tom Cruise, but I know a lot of people don't.
Some people that don't.
People are going to be like, no, Will Smith. I don't think Will Smith's he's probably got some haters out there.
I don't have any thing to say.
Did my lights just dim and undim?
Probably because of
Did I say something bad about Will Smith and Tom Cruise? They're two, like, listen, Will Smith I don't care about, but Tom Cruise has haters out there. If he collapsed on the set, people would be like, good. What did Scientology get for you?
I don't necessarily hate Tom Cruise.
Everybody was.
I don't think it's the movies he does. If it's a movie that looks like it's going to be good, I'll watch it. I thought he was good in Tropic Thunder. I'm not going to lie.
He was great in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
All of the Mission Impossible movies except for the third one.
I have never watched any of the Mission Impossible movies.
Or the Harry Potter. Or the Titanic.
I've seen the first Harry Potter twice. I've started it, and then I was like, I'm going to do this. Just like I'm halfway through The Wire. I can't get through The Wire. You ever watch The Wire, Ryan?
Me neither.
Have you watched some of it?
I have watched season 1 3 times. And every
season
time,
one's really good.
And I don't enjoy it. I'm like, nah, not for me.
Season 1's really good, and I'm going to spoil it here for a bunch of people. But I think the show's been on at least 15 years. But the character you start to follow in season 1, you're like, yeah, this is your guy. You're going to follow him through these 5 seasons. It's fucking killed.
Is he Ned Stark, like right there in the first?
He's Ned Stark at the end of the first season.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I guess I haven't watched the full because I don't even know who you're actually talking about. Are you talking about the cop or the drug dealer?
The kid that was a drug dealer. Yeah.
Is that Omar Epps?
No, it's the kid. He was also in Walking Dead.
Oh. He was he Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton?
He might have been in that movie. I don't remember.
Seen Straight Outta Compton either.
I did see.
You're watching fucking Happy Days.
No, I saw
Fantasy Island, man. Watch some shit that was made in this century.
I said I saw Straight Outta Compton. I just don't remember if he was in it, and I didn't want to go onto IMDb in the middle of the podcast about the Love Boat to talk about Straight Outta Compton.
How far are we into this episode? Like 7 minutes? Have they had the first?
Right. How can we see what the time is on the episode here, real quick?
50 minutes left? Is that possible?
No, it's total 50 minutes. We have 36 minutes.
Oh, well, that's much better. 36 minutes. This is going to have to be edited.
I didn't even
down.
think we were halfway
Brian,
there.
you have to edit this down a lot.
You have to keep in the gold. You have to keep. There's some good gold. There's some good stuff in here.
There is nothing good so far about this. Nothing good. You can cut out all the stuff that I messed up about, like not knowing. I don't even remember what I didn't know now.
Like,
I know I got Cannonball.
You're like, wasn't there lyrics not on there?
Oh yeah, and we've talked about that already. No good.
Brian, you remember the lyrics, right? That we talked about that,
Did
right?
we really?
Yeah.
Wow, I was so taken back by those lyrics. I was like, oh.
Just like my text message went through first, man.
I saw it mine first.
That was weird.
My phone is such a piece of shit. Oh my God. I got to get a new phone.
All right. So where are we at here? Oh, this was really awkward. There was Helen, the horny one, comes to have dinner at her table.
And she's sitting with a couple that is
much
much hornier than her.
Andy, I'm going to ask you a question here, Andy. Was he porking her?
He was porking her, Russ. I'm telling you, this was uncalled for.
Remember, he's not going to pork her, Russ.
At a dinner table,
he's not going to pork her.
They're all over each other. There's no excuse for this kind of behavior, even on the quote unquote love boat. You know, you have dinner, you act like a goddamn adult.
I
you eat your dinner.
Like maybe on the deck, you can go out there and do something like that.
Not at dinner. This is unacceptable behavior.
It really is. I mean,
now
it's embarrassing, and you have people sitting at your table with you. Then Doc sits down.
So horny Helen gets is it Helen or Ellen?
Helen, horny Helen is
okay. Horny Helen gets the table,
and she's also not wearing the glasses. They're on the top of her head.
Top of her head because she's faking everybody out. And then Doc sits down, and then they order the roast beef and. They
that
say
was an awkward
medium,
rare,
rare. They go all over the place. So when the next
he goes like, "How do you want your roast beef?" She goes, "Well," and he went,
"Well," and then I like my medium. And she's like, "Rare," and remember,
and then he ordered 2 rare.
And when they come and it comes rare, she's like, "I didn't order it this way." I'm like, was that the last thing she said? Rare? Was that what it was?
Like, why didn't they at least?
Now here's the scene where
you got to tell me what happened, what you did. You got to tell. Like, I just ordered fucking medium or rare roast beef.
Yeah. If it's something that matters like that people will not like, you have to make sure you've captured the order correctly. So now she goes back to the room because the magic watch has buzzed as she's sitting down to dinner. So this woman's not eating now. And so the sister's in the bathroom and hands her the glasses. And
she did give Doc a kiss goodbye too.
She
Let's
did.
mention that.
And so now, here's where
maybe
Ellen
my
favorite
back.
scene in the entire thing. There is a bowl of cigarettes at the table, and Doc pulls out 2 because she had a cigarette when she left. Horny Helen had them, not Easy Ellen. Horny Helen. She had
Ellen
a cigarette
coming back
right
to eat,
before
and
she
I guess Doc sees her in the distance because he picks up 2 and fires them up faster than.
But I have never been anywhere where cigarettes are just lying around on the table waiting to be smoked. In a cup, just sitting there. Listen, I smoked for a long, long time. I would have loved that at any point to go to a bar and they just have like free smokes on the bar. No, you have to go down to the corner 7-Eleven and pay $5 for a pack of cigarettes.
It's just weird that Doc also sat at that table alone with the making out.
And now the making up couple, they're gone. Their place setting has been removed. So now Doc's just waiting for her to come back.
Yeah, because they were eating they brought the food out right when they ordered. That's how it worked.
Okay.
And now we got this is a non-horny Ellen walking up to the table, and Doc hands her a cigarette, and she puts it out immediately.
Now these
and
girls
then Doc says, "I don't like these either."
Yeah.
So it's like,
now, has Doc smoked before? Have we ever seen anybody smoke?
I don't recall, but I'm going to say yes.
But in the 70s, that was not a
doctors are smoking
kind of thing.
They're smoking in the room with you. I mean, back there probably.
Now, when they do a show based in the 70s,
cigarettes dangling out of their mouth.
If they do a show based in the 70s, no one smokes. But everybody smoked in the 70s. But now no one smokes on a TV show.
I guess in that 70s show, they did smoke, but they were only smoking weed.
Yeah,
so
you never saw them smoke regular cigarettes. Yeah. So
they did the weed fun. That was fun. I like that show.
Oh, the table with the spinning camera?
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah.
That was one of the best things about the 70s.
It was fun, too, because then every now and then you'd get like one of the other characters. Like
you get Red at the table or something like that. I'd be like, Red smoke? What happened?
Dumbass.
70s show. Great show. Once Topher Grace left. Topher Grace? That doesn't sound right.
Topher. Topher. I think it's Topher, yeah.
Topher Grace?
Topher Grace, yeah.
Okay. Once he left.
Mark Grace is
they should have just ended that show. Because then they got like Seth Meyers' younger brother, and it sucked. And
it was. I think that was the last.
I think Ashton Kutcher left too.
Kutcher was one more season than Topher, I think. But
I actually never watched the last season.
I just actually watched it for the first time all the way through. You ever watched that 70s show? Yeah.
I never watched after Ashton Kutcher left. I stopped watching it, so I don't even know how it ended. Did someone die?
No, I think at the very end, does
Topher Grace come back in the final episode to stay marry Donna or something like that?
I believe
Donna Pinkatit.
Fez and what was Mila Kunis's name in it?
Jackie.
Jackie and Fez get together.
Get the hell out of here!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. She realizes
Fez.
that Fez was the good guy the whole time, like, and she just missed it all those years.
Topher Grace's older sister died
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that played his sister on the show. I remember when she died.
For some reason, I thought that you meant in real life, his real life.
And she didn't even make it through the whole show, right? Didn't they get a second actress to play the older sister? Because she was all
no. I think there was a bunch of times where she
drugs,
just wasn't,
or she wasn't
on
even
the show.
on the show.
Yeah,
I thought
she was hot too.
Was she really? I kind of thought she looked kind of banged up. Even
her early season, she was hot.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch that. Maybe no, I'm not very going to go back and watch that. If they put it on TBS at 7:00,
I'll tell you what I'm watching. I'll tell you on our other podcast. I'll tell you what I'm watching now.
Are we going to get to that? Because this podcast is going to take 3 goddamn hours to do.
This is what happens when we miss a week, because we start talking all kinds of shit in between. That's
true. Sorry, I had to go on vacation with my family.
The family.
Believe me, I would have much rather been podcasting.
I wish it was the Manson family, but
well, but it probably been less painful. Anyway, Julie's eating dinner with Buddy, right?
Okay, so we got Buddy and Julie having a little dinner, and Doc introduces himself here.
Oh, because they're trying to help her. Because,
because they know that she doesn't know what she wants to do with him yet, and they think he's still married. They don't know that he's divorced
and actually remarried. But
they
think, well, they don't know. They don't know that he's divorced, right? So they don't want Julie to make a mistake.
Yeah, and Doc. It's embarrassing the way, again, he just sits down.
Doc's not a good cutter inner.
No.
Even like last week with
although Gopher isn't later either. So
no, but even with the granddaughter last week where he would just like butt in, and when Patty Duke was trying to hook up with her ex-boyfriend and stuff like that. Doc's not subtle, let's put it that way. And here's our first look of Isaac with the neck brace and the bow tie around the neck brace. That's actually
ridiculous.
A good look. I like it. He should keep it.
But it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it's so dumb. Because in actuality, he could wear that bow tie below the neck brace, but
the way I wanted to mention real quick how I wanted to mention real quick how Doc dismissed or Buddy dismissed Doc. He was like, all right, take it.
Did he get rid of him like that? Yeah. So now a new crew member, Vince.
Yeah, because Gopher got a call from the McDonald's, which is the Scarecrow and Harriet. They wanted postcards right away.
Yes.
So he couldn't get Isaac. Doc,
knowing something about the mail system in the 70s, like they could have written those postcards right then, and they will be home from their vacation for a month and a half before those postcards show up. Now that guy Vince, that he gave the postcards to and walked to the top of the stairs and then pummeled down them.
Yeah, can we talk about how
he must be a stuntman, because they did not cut away from that fall.
Yeah, we saw that whole fall
until he landed and sat up and was like,
and no one, not even Gopher. Came to his aid or rescue.
At all.
Gopher just said, "Welcome to the club, the Jinx Club, or whatever."
Now, how is that spine of yours over there?
I just didn't understand that.
The fact that he fell 30 stairs and no one seemed to care. I'd care if someone fell 2 stairs, maybe 3. Silly. All right, so Vince has now been initiated into the club.
Doc catches a beach ball here too.
Oh, he does, and throws it back. And now
we got Horny Helen again.
Horny Helen's up on deck, and Doc's rolling his eyes.
Really confused.
Like,
he's like, "What the hell are you? 1 second, we're going. Your tongue's down my throat."
I threw it on the table last night. What's going on here? Poor Doc. This girl is cute, and she's way too young for Doc.
Yeah, and it's really weird because she asks. He says he makes a point where he's like, she asks for something. He's like, "I got a drug for that."
He was about to say I have a drug.
But she wanted suntan lotion rubbed on her backside, and he starts to rub it on her, and she's like, "Thank you," and he says that's her second best side.
I wonder what drugs Doc has.
I was so curious. I was like, "What's he giving him?" Like, I'm thinking, has he got Quaaludes? Because it's the 70s, you know.
I got uppers, I got downers, I got poppers, anal nitrate. Yeah, so Doc he does a terrible job of rubbing lotion on this woman. She's going to have 2 big hands.
Her alarm goes off when Doc goes to get the pina coladas. Is that what they were getting? Yeah. Isaac makes the pina coladas with his stiff neck.
And listen, I'm not going to question Isaac's acting, but he does not seem to be acting like a guy that's got a hurt neck. Because even when you're wearing that neck brace, that means you are.
Yeah, you should be like,
but he is
the neck's moving every which way but loose, which is another movie from the 70s.
That's bad directing right there. Look, he turned his head right there. He followed him in the, he should have been like,
Now, real quick here, we don't see Doc comes back over to start putting more suntan
so
lotion
now
on.
they have switched girls. So listen,
Ellen,
we know
Ellen the prude.
But these women have to at least do like 10 seconds of communicating, being like, "Hey, listen, the doc was just rubbing lotion on me.
Two drinks.
No, I'm just going to leave this poor guy hanging here. He's going to come back with drinks, and then
I know I've mentioned
this going to get groped by this guy.
I know I've mentioned this before too. That's a very Three's Company like.
This is so Three's Company. Same time, same writers, probably guys. Probably were they both on ABC? Were they both shuffling writers back and forth?
I think Three's Company was ABC. But.
That's probably how they did it. They probably had the chalkboard in the global ABC writing room and said, which thing can we pull from ABC or from Three's Company and Love Boat?
Three's Company did that 2 seasons ago. We could do it on the Love Boat. We're good.
We're 16 episodes away from the last time we used mistaken identity on Three's Company, so let's do it on the Love Boat. I mean, Jack mistakenly dated half of Santa Monica, I think.
Jack got around, but then Jack was also like a prude. I never understood that.
Yeah, well, that's because we couldn't make Jack be a lech. That's why we had Larry. Larry was what Jack should have been.
Yeah.
You know, every time Jack looked like he was going to go to the dark side, Larry would go to the dark side. And you'd be like,
Jack would be
disgusting.
I'm going to stay over here. Yeah.
I'm going to live with these 2 hot chicks and, jokingly hit on them, but,
And then Mr. Furley and Mr. Roper overhearing everything, and it always sounded like when they were putting up the shower curtain, and
yes.
I think the line was something like they were opening up the shower curtain, and Chrissy says, "I don't think it's long enough. It's not going to fit," something like that. And Mr. Furley's eyes really
bulged out of his head. Good stuff. Three's Company, man. That's an all-time great.
Where are we at here? I didn't see where we left off. I'm sorry.
The captain is meeting Harriet and Ozzy and Harriet for the first time, and they're about to ask him to remarry them.
Yes.
The first time they got married was on the Titanic, so they want to,
the
less
captain,
chance
right before this, though, Doc, Isaac, and Gopher were trying to tell the captain about the Jinx, and the captain made a Red Cross joke.
He did, yes. I mean, I guess there's less chance of getting hit by an iceberg in the Pacific Ocean down by Mexico. Is this Baja California? Where are they cruising through? Yeah, is that what we're doing here? So much less of a chance of getting hit by an iceberg. So I guess you can recreate your wedding and not worry about getting hit by an iceberg.
True, yeah. And then, so they're going to officiate. The captain's going to officiate the wedding.
I
Nobody wants to go.
The suit that Ray Bulger's wearing. I mean, he is buttoned to the top. No one's wearing just a Hawaiian shirt and some Bermuda shorts.
Like if he was going to dinner or something, I could see him wearing that. But he's on the deck.
He's got to be.
He's
hot.
by the pool.
Yeah.
He's right near the pool,
hanging out. I remember my grandfather wore like a suit every day. Every day we'd be like on vacation. My grandfather had a suit tied all the way up. I was like, I'm barely wearing clothes. I had like a tank top and short shorts on in the early 80s. And seems like that's just not the way to go. Anyway.
Now we're going to get our fourth injury here.
So the captain has agreed to marry Scarecrow.
And he asks for champagne to be brought over to the table because he's going to sit with the Scarecrow and
Mrs. King.
Mrs.
Nelson. And the most obvious of the jinxing injuries is about to happen here because...
So I gave we spoiled it earlier, I think, but now, like I said, Isaac's about to open up a champagne bottle.
As he's aiming it right at Julie's face. Even if there wasn't a jinx,
I didn't understand
a bad way of opening the champagne bottle.
Let's watch this real quick in real time here.
He undoes it. Now, in Isaac's defense, he is injured here. He has the neck
Yes,
brace
but again,
on.
His neck is working pretty well. They cut away.
Yeah, did they show? You
hear the pop, and then you just see her hand over her eyes.
Look he was aiming that thing right at her. Aiming it right at her. You don't do that.
There was nobody behind the bar. Like, why don't you turn that around and you do it that way, right?
Good stuff. Julie is now blind. Gopher
in the next scene, we have a band playing,
crippled,
and it's Julie.
Doc got permanent brain damage.
Julie's going to be talking to Buddy here.
Weird intro of the band here as they come back from the commercial.
We get Julie and her.
The band was like all pushed into the side, and they all seem to be looking and laughing at one thing. I was like, they're going to focus on something, and you're going to understand why the band's all laughing at what. But
it's like
that's it. That was the
Lost.
band.
It was Lost.
It was a very strange intro to the scene.
But also we get the weird she has her beige eye patch on. this is the reveal.
Her formal beige.
The reveal of the eye patch for Julie, who's sitting with their mystery man.
And Isaac and Gopher are discussing
planning ways to try and break them up. Yeah, because again, they still think that he's married.
So Gopher is saying that he can't do it.
Gopher goes over there and he tells him to make a nuisance of himself like he normally does.
You can do that because you're good at that or something like that. Yeah.
I think Gopher asks her to dance and she says no. And then he says, okay, I'll just sit down and talk to you guys for a while, which was so weird.
I guess these guys are doing the right thing. They are out for Julie's best interest.
Gopher then asks if he's a sports fan.
Yes. And he goes all the way to some sport I had never heard of.
I got it right here.
He said football, basketball, hockey.
I have them all here. He says baseball. He says hockey. He says water polo. He says gymnastics. And then Buddy then asks Julie to dance. And he says, and that's when Gopher mentions broom ball.
Broom ball. Is that like curling back in the old days?
That's what it made me think of.
Brian, the non-sports guy, is going to tell us what broom ball is.
I have actually played broom ball.
Come on. That sounds like something you would play.
Where are you from again?
He's from this town, this hillbilly town that we live in here.
But it was in Western New York at school that I played it. And it's you have a broom and a ball, and it's played on ice. So it's like floor hockey, but on an ice.
I think it's curling. Isn't curling?
No, that's more like hockey.
Stuff
that's
like that?
Like you said. I think that makes it's just like floor hockey or ground hockey, and you're on ice
with brooms. But you take the brooms and you cut.
You're not wearing skates, right?
No, it's all on sneakers.
So it's like a poor man's hockey.
Exactly.
If you can't get the equipment for hockey, you grab some brooms and you play.
Gopher gets dismissed by Buddy after the captain.
The captain has taken Julie away to dance. So Gopher must be happy. He's like, good.
Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't making any progress.
And then this is where Captain finds out that Julie tells the captain that Buddy's not married anymore.
Right.
And she's happy with
Technically, he's not. He said, I'm not married to Barbara anymore. His ex-wife. He's like, I am not married to Barbara anymore. So he's not technically lying. He's not married to Barbara anymore. So Julie thinks she's in. She's going to run away. She even makes a reference at one point, like, this might be my last cruise ever.
The captain was kind of mean here to Julie, too. He says, you're the cruise director. You don't have to spend all your time with one person.
Well, you know what? She is working. It's her job. She shouldn't just be
because there was also a point,
Isaac,
or I think somebody said something to Doc about him drinking on the job, and he said he was doing it for her, which was
I think when he gets the Doc gets the 2 pina coladas, he's like, both for her. It's medicinal. Yeah, he says.
Yeah, because he asked him how you going to pay for this. He says, are you going to put it on the medical? Or
yes. And now horny Helen comes out. She's talking to Doc, and Doc is very confused because.
And Doc makes a joke here. She says, should we get a table for dinner or something? He says, what do we should get a table for 3. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Now, in the confines of this 1 hour show where 3 different little episodes going on, we've never actually seen where Ellen is the one on deck interacting with people. Like, her entire existence on the show is just to be the wrong person for Doc.
Yeah.
But Ellen gets as much time above deck as Helen does. We never see her. She doesn't get to throw confetti when they leave.
Yeah.
Her dinner is wrong because she didn't order it.
So then at the rest of that was, I guess Helen apologizes to Doc saying, I'm sorry, like kind of like that. And then she kisses him, and Doc says he likes weirdness because she said this was weird or whatever. And then the alarm goes off, and then she says tomorrow night at 9, they'll meet up again. And so it's like, again, her alarm's been going off at 9. Like, that's the end of her night.
Which is really, when you think about it, she wants to bang the Doc. She should tell her sister, listen, I am going to be in a room. Yeah. You can have full reign of the deck while I am down in the doctor's quarters.
Why doesn't she go like this? She says, you know what? You can have today. Give me the night.
I'm
spending the night with Doc. I'm going to spend the night with the Doc.
She can tell her sister, you give me 5 minutes, you can have the upstairs of the boat for the next 6 hours at least. I'm going to be downstairs. So they really didn't plan this well. Not good planning from these twins. With their scam to only have one ticket.
Again, like we said, she sees that the Doc's there. Why would she walk right past the Doc knowing that her sister was just had her tongue down the Doc's throat?
I mean, the suntan lotion episode just before where she knows she had to tap out. She didn't give her any kind of heads up, like, hey, the Doc's going to be back in a
she had no idea that he was rubbing lotion on her, no idea that he went to get drinks. Like, she didn't tell him tell her anything. It was just...
And didn't know that her roast beef was going to come back rare. And what kind of high class boat are we on where roast beef is the choice of the dinner?
Yeah,
roast beef.
Like
I get sandwiches with roast beef.
Yeah,
that's not
I was waiting to hear like, how do you want your beef Wellington
your
or
filet
something
mignon
like that,
or something like that? Your roast beef. Is the Grinch going to carve
like
roast beef?
Catered by Arby's. We have.
Do you want some horsey dressing on that?
We'd love you as a sponsor, Arby's.
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. I like Arby's.
Me too. All right, so our next scene, we're getting to catch Julie throws a towel around Buddy. We finally see Buddy without a suit on.
He's looking good, man. This guy's got to be
Buddy's
like
ripped if he's been in those Bond movies.
Old. Yeah, he's a good-looking guy with that shirt on. Listen, I had to go in the ocean this last week. It took a long time for me to take my shirt off and walk into the ocean in front of people. Because
did you walk down the ocean a little bit? Like
I walked all the way. I had my feet in the water. My mom actually followed me down. We were talking, and I was like, stand right here. And I took my shirt off and threw it at my mom and then jumped in the water. Yeah, I did. And then the undertow almost killed me. But anyway, Julie's got her, speaking of Bond.
Like, look at me, Mom.
Julie's got her Bond villain black eye patch on now. She looks like Blofeld or something.
Yeah, that's right. We have the new patch. She looks like the Bond villain now.
I like that Julie has a wide assortment of eye patches on hand. For any occasion.
Hey, the doc's he's got a lot of supplies.
Oh, yes. They're all you're right. They're from the dock. That's right. Julie just doesn't have these bedazzled things lying around. None of them are bedazzled. So it would be funny if they were, though. That would have been bedazzled one.
We find out the 3 years had passed here. They both had the same feelings. We find out again he's got a deal going on in Puerto Vallarta. It's hard to say for me.
Puerto Vallarta.
He wants to ask her a question, but he doesn't want to ask it right away. He wants to ask it tomorrow. They kiss, and then Isaac and Gopher with their hypothetical question.
Hypothetical question of
like they were saying, like if somebody was like drowning or dying, like would you save them, kind of thing. Julie says stay out of her affairs, and they said that's what they're trying to do, keep her out of an affair, kind of thing.
The affairs of the state take precedent over.
She mentions that he's divorced.
Affairs of the state. I think I've done that joke before. That Blazing Saddle.
That's pretty
joke.
good. Yeah. He's so she tells him he's divorced, and they tell her that they think he's arrogant, self-centered.
How old is
she calls him a wonderful guy.
How old is Julie supposed to be? 25?
I want to say she's in her mid-20s. Yeah,
and this guy's probably close.
Well, she did mention that he was older.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely in his 40s. Yeah. Julie could do better. She should be doing better for herself. And I get it. Older guys somehow have some kind of sway
Julie's
over.
around. Let's say she's 25 here, so she was 22 when she was with this guy.
Yeah, she was probably like out of college, doing her post-college,
her airline
going to
career.
Europe.
Yeah, she had her airline career.
Right, but I mean, women are dumb. They like older dirtbag guys. I don't know why that is.
Yeah,
I mean, Julie's not the only one.
Once again, my Twitter handle at Jesus74.
Oh, to mock me for saying women are dumb?
No, I was. You said that they like weird older guys.
Oh yes, you're a weird older guy.
But
you have to be dumb.
I'm just checking to see if that's even my Twitter handle. I don't even remember what my Twitter handle is. Yeah, Jesus74. That's JEZOO, the letter 74.
Nice. And Doc is making out with Horny Helen here.
Horny Helen and Doc are going at it.
Now, I'd
again.
like to point out that the sisters have to have the same outfit. Right, they have planned that they will.
Yeah, they all have had the same outfits. There was that red outfit. Now they had the dress,
the blue dress at dinner, and doesn't that cost a lot of money? Buying, well, I guess.
Well, they have to wear
doesn't
clothes.
Cost any more. You're right. It doesn't cost any more than buying dresses of different colors.
We can cut that part out.
You're right. Sorry, it probably actually costs less. I'd like 2 of these. All right, we'll give you a break on the second one.
Buy one, get the second one 50% off.
Why are you buying 5 dresses and then 5 of the same dresses?
You see Helen is making out with Doc, but then you see Ellen standing through the glass door or window and telling
Doc
her,
is about to beat it over the side of this.
I think he was about to bend her over the railing. He was,
and now she walks by. She saw him making out with the Doc, and now she walks by the Doc, and he grabs her, and she's like, "How dare you, sir?"
This is Ellen, and now she has her glasses on as well. Now, also, wouldn't it have been smart maybe if one of them tried to dress differently? Maybe put their hair up.
I'm telling you, there's ways to look different even when you're twins.
Yeah, like so they could have made it so this way Doc wouldn't come after her, right? I mean, And every time she would leave, she would leave and say, like, I'm leaving for the night. And then her sister would always fucking arrive.
Go right to the exact spot where she just was. Yeah, she should be wearing, instead of just the glasses, she should be wearing like the Groucho glasses with the fake nose and the mustache.
She had the cigar.
I don't know what you're talking about, Doc. Because Helen needed the penis.
Oh, you see, you got the penis, and you put it. We're doing old Groucho there for all our young fans.
I wonder at what age the knowledge of Groucho drops off. Like, how old are you right now and you have no idea who Groucho Marx is? I bet neither of my kids know who Groucho Marx is.
I bet you can ask people in their 30s and they don't know who Groucho Marx is.
I bet you're right.
40s, I say yes, you know who Groucho Marx is.
But not everybody in their 40s.
Not everybody, but I think 40s is when you'll start getting more people.
That's a shame. I mean, he was the biggest thing for decades, and now...
Yeah, I mean,
once you're dead, man, unless you killed 1 million people, no one will ever forget Hitler. People forget Groucho.
Will people forget the Beatles?
No, because I guess that gets played on the radio still.
And that gets played a lot more than the Marx
Duck
Brother
Soup
movies.
Or something like that. Yeah,
you got to catch that like on TCM or like streaming somewhere.
I got to tell you, this week, being home during a weekday and seeing what's on TV during the week, it's
brutal.
Well, it's crazy. Like, I didn't even know. And every day, Three Stooges on 9:00 on TCM. I don't even remember what channel, but
I think they're on IFC sometimes.
Maybe it was IFC. And I was just sitting watching TV one day, and I'm flipping the channels. I'm like, Stooges. I'm like, really? And I watched a half hour of the Three Stooges. My dad and I were laughing our tits off. It was like we were all 30 years
the first
younger.
time you saw
it. Oh my
it.
God, it was so much fun. Oh God. I mean, my dad is 84. My mom came in, we're giggling. She's like,
it's like, really?
She's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? I'm like, I know. It's like, but he hit him in the head with the thing.
He knew everything that was coming too. You could see everything coming.
He grabbed his nose and then smacked the top of his head. How can you not laugh at that?
All right, so we were talking about, so we had Ellen walk right by Doc, who, again, has a hard-on from just making out with horny Helen.
Yes.
And now Doc basically throws himself here on Ellen.
He's like, listen, enough of this. He's like, you're either putting out right now
Ellen's trying to push him away.
Yep.
He pulls her in, gives her a kiss, and it takes a few seconds, but then guess who likes to kiss?
She's tapping it first, like tapping out, but then she's like, okay.
And then she starts like rubbing his back and then wraps her arms around him. She's in.
Now, I wonder how
Helen and Ellen are both making out.
Now, see, this is not the kind of scenario where you get the one sister doesn't want to have a boyfriend at all. She just didn't want to have Doc, but now she's down with Doc. Like, I wonder how many times these girls have pulled this trick back in high school where you want to try to bang the same guy? Let's do it. Let's figure it out. No,
that's good, because then she basically she makes a comment about like, that's the right prescription, doctor.
Yes.
And then guess what she says next?
What? Something about the hot beef injection. No,
that's pretty good. But no, because she said they were talking about that's the prescription, doctor. Then she goes, can she get a refill? And that was another. And then he kissed her again.
All right, good. Well, now Ellen's in too. So now Doc's got twins.
Doc's making out with both of them, but he doesn't know
now
they're twins. He thinks he's kissing the same person.
I've never dated twins or even a part of a twin, so I don't know if there's a difference. But you would think there'd be some kind of I don't know. You would think you'd be like,
Isn't it sometimes there's like
you're doing something different here.
One has the mole here, or whatever.
When you're on TV, for sure, you always have to have.
The eye looks different. There's always something different with the identical twins. I think there's always like that one little thing, right? I mean,
I had 5 sets of twins in my high school, and being that we knew them from young ages, I knew the difference between Teresa and Julie, and I knew the difference between Gary and Jim. Like, I knew
Gary and Larry,
Gary and Jim,
right?
But I knew the differences between all the twins, even though they were. Teachers couldn't tell the difference. Like, if they had them for the first.
Do you think they ever did the old switcheroo?
They could have easily. Like the boy twins that were in my class, they could have definitely pulled the switcheroo.
You think they ever did the Billy Baroo?
The Billy Baroo? oh, Billy. Oh, Billy. Billy.
We did have a sweet Ted Knight episode recently.
Tonight.
Okay, now we get Gopher in his dark sling again.
Do Julie and Gopher match their infirmed
This is
wear?
weird, too, because he puts a key into this filing cabinet and then rips his pants.
And he's wearing a bathing suit underneath his pants? Is that what
he ripped his pants because the Scarecrow called. And he says, hello, Scarecrow.
He says, hello, Scarecrow. Wants some fire? And he's like, just a good guess. I just figured, because something bad happened. So now Ellen comes back to the room, and Helen's like, yo.
She's pissed because she's been waiting.
Horned up. I've
been waiting here. You're late. She was late coming back.
Well, yeah, because she was hooking up with Doc. And
she's falling for Doc.
But now they decide that they're both going to.
She says, you don't feel feelings. She said, you tan.
Oh, right, yes. She's here for a man. She's here for a tan, right?
She said, remember when they both liked the same thing? They both liked roller skates. You know what they did?
No.
They got rid of them.
Oh, yes.
So they both agree that they're gonna.
They couldn't get two pairs of rollers. These girls don't look like they grew up poor. I'm sure they could have afforded 2 pairs of rollers.
Although they did buy one ticket.
Yeah, that's just because they're on their own and doing it. I'm sure
if
they asked.
Brad, what do you think? They might be poor.
I'm sure if Daddy asked them.
I think they were poor.
Really? Oh, I didn't get that vibe from them at all.
But not poor. Like
2 pair of roller skates poor, or 1 pair of roller skates poor.
Like 20 years old, not having enough money, and so they came up with this wacky scheme.
See, this seems like let's see.
Like
if we
they grew.
can do
They
it
grew
kind
up with
of
a nice family. They grew up okay. They weren't wealthy. They weren't poor. But they were they grew up okay. And now, like you said, they're out on their own, so they don't have their parents supporting them.
Well, that's Now they're poor.
What,
they're poor because they're on their own, but they didn't grow up poor. They could have afforded 2 pairs of roller skates, and they could have afforded 2 different dresses of different colors.
Those are jerk parents that only bought their twins one pair.
They named their kids Ellen and Helen. Like, they are definitely jerk parents.
But also, by that age, I mean, okay, I understand, like, parents will dress twins to look alike, but by that age,
when they're like 5,
by the age these girls are here,
25.
like, why are they still dressing the same? It's on them now.
Well,
it's on them doing that.
Well, now they're doing it because they're trying to pretend they're the same person.
I know, but they shouldn't be. It makes no sense.
Well, they're on their own. They're trying to save money.
But they get in there. They get in there as they look the same. Okay, when they first get on the boat, but once they're on the boat, nobody's checking tickets.
No doubt that they could have pretended to be the same person on different sides of the boat. That could have been their thing. Yeah, I'm going to be on the
you can't be seen on the side of the boat.
You're going to be on the port. Don't cross over for the next 10 hours.
Yeah.
That's definitely what the plan should have been. And then maybe you would have had the Isaac moment where he was serving drinks on both sides. And he was like, whoa, what?
Like, I was right behind you, Isaac. Stop it.
But yeah, they're doing this hide in the cabin for 8 hours or 6 hours. Did they ever decide? What was it? 6 hours?
They never. I don't know if they gave the amount of hours. Right? I don't recall the hours, but I know it seems like every time they go through their scene, it's time for the alarm.
Yes, I would like to see the first 5 hours and 55 minutes of their time out of the ship.
Let's see what happened. Like, what did she do for those first 5 hours and 50-some minutes, and then she kisses Doc, and then I gotta leave. You lost 5 hours. You could have been kissing Doc.
It would have been a better thing if they showed her like hopping out of bed, Doc's bed, being like, "Oh my god,
oh,
I gotta go." Which I guess actually
my sister's in the room.
Does it happen eventually?
It kind of does, yeah.
Go Doc.
All right, so here we are.
So they have both decided they're going to break up with Doc, right? Helen.
Helen's going to do it.
She's going to do it because she's actually had a relationship with him.
We get the injured people.
The cast is serenading the Scarecrow and Mrs. Harriet.
They do the vows.
Yeah, I didn't know that song they were singing.
I didn't either. I was like,
but they're still going on. We've been talking about it for 10 seconds, and they're still singing.
Katie had a real problem with that. She's like, why are they singing?
Well, it was weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like, Doc expected to carry a tune, be like, I'm a doctor. Isaac, I'm a bartender. Like, I don't know how to sing.
It gets weird, too, here. I don't know. I just think so.
What, the actual vows? That
after the vows and everything, and then they're all nervous still, like, kind of, you know.
Well, they're worried that the Jinx is going to continue on.
Then there's
they show the lineup of the four of them.
The comment of there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Who said that?
Yes.
Somebody said, for all you people out there, that's FDR.
It is FDR, but they said something else, didn't they? Didn't they say
after? What did they say? They said something. I thought I wrote it down.
The only thing we have to fear.
Yeah, there is something else because
itself.
It was FDR, and then the trellis falls. Everyone falls with the trellis. Isaac's head first into the cake. They all laugh, and then somebody says, "Who said let them eat cake?"
Right. Also funny that Helen is at the wedding, and her buzzer goes off.
Alarm goes off
while
at the
she's
wedding.
at the wedding.
Yes. And she just gets up.
That's the precursor to having your cell phone on at a wedding. And like, why is she at the wedding? She doesn't know these people. Who would go to some strange person's wedding? And by the way, I can't let this slide. Trellis? What's that?
Isn't that the thing that falls down?
Is that what that's called?
Was I right
you
on
guys
that?
Are so much smarter than me, man. You know so much more than me. I don't know what a trellis is. I've never heard of that before.
You wrote it down. I felt cool.
And now they're
writing
singing
that down.
again. They're singing again.
I felt really cool writing down trellis when I wrote that down.
I wouldn't even know what to call it. I would have called it a
Fence.
backdrop or something like that. Trellis. Wow. You're smart, man. You guys are both smart.
We keep it real.
I learn something every week on this podcast. Usually it's disgusting, but now I learned what a trellis is. And I actually was reading a book over vacation, and the term eavesdrop was in it. I'm like,
Dropping
hey,
eaves.
Hey, I see how it's spelled now. I'm like, it is eavesdrop. I'm like, all right. Yeah, all right. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's that
dropping
word.
eaves.
Well, I didn't say the dropping eaves, but it was eavesdrop. I'm like, look at it.
Yeah, because what did you thought it was eavesdrop, right?
Yeah. Well, here we go. And now, as soon as you see Isaac with the cake, you're like, oh, good Lord.
There goes the trellis.
Now, why did the boat tip or something like that? Because they lurched forward.
The captain was like, he said, the seas are rough.
Did he say that?
We're going to take it outside.
Everything's all set up inside. Let's take it all outside.
It made no sense.
But
shouldn't he said it? It should have said it's a nice day, right?
Exactly.
And Julie starts eating the cake off Isaac's face, and
yeah, it's a little weird.
It's fun.
It's fun, but it's a little
weird.
You
would do that too. You'd be like,
well, it's 77 too. I guess in a 2021 era. You're not really
you're like, do you have any COVID? Do you have your vaccination card? So now horny Helen,
she arrives
comes
at
to Doc's
office.
Now she was at the wedding. She should
have went back to her room then, right? This is she's breaking her.
Well, shouldn't this be the other one now, or this is just 6 hours later, or?
That's what I'm saying. There's no glasses, so we know it's horny Helen.
Right. And now she's going to break up with him, and instead of breaking up with him,
she's about to, and then it turns into a kiss, and then I think something else.
I mean, they're definitely banging, right? I mean,
I have sex written down, Andy.
You have sex written down? Where?
I had it written down right there in my notes.
Yeah. Maybe on your penis or something like that.
Well, that's a different story. And it's on a different podcast. You have to pay for that.
Yeah, and now she goes for the lights. She turns the lights off.
It's bounce.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely banging.
Finally, a one-on-one scene in this Love Boat porn.
If there were twins, it would be a different kind of.
And here comes Andy's favorite story, the Julie and Mystery Man. I'm just guessing. Was that your favorite one? No, I'm just asking. I'm saying, is that your favorite story?
This one didn't have one where I was kind of like every week it seems like there's at least one where I was just
Did one stick out for you? Like
no, they were all kind of all right. This was the best written Love Boat
one
show.
didn't stick out as better than others either.
No, they were all just good, which was weird because there were no real stars on this. I mean, is Ray Bulger a star in 1977?
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say yes.
I know his name. Yes as well. I know his name, but he did something 60 years ago, and that makes him famous.
But that's not all he did. He had almost 40 some credits.
Oh yeah, but nothing I saw.
I know, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't a good movie.
Just think about
Babes in
the
Toyland.
fact
that's a huge movie. Babes in Toyland. I never saw it. I saw the band
in 2021. 60 years ago is 1961.
Yeah,
so it's someone doing something, and it's like Clint Eastwood doing something like a Clint Eastwood Western in 1961, and then never doing anything ever again, and showing up on a show in 2021.
But that's the thing; he didn't not do anything. He did a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah, but nothing I saw. I'm just saying.
See it.
Well, I'm saying he's got a 60-year gap in my knowledge of him.
Yeah, but I mean, to other people, like I said, I never saw that movie, but there's a lot of movies on there.
No one else is going, oh, look, it's Ray Bulger from Babes in Toyland. Everybody's saying it's Ray Bulger from Scarecrow and Mr. Dorothy.
This is King.
Mr. Dorothy.
Toto.
And so now Helen.
So do we finish talking about Buddy? And
so Buddy says he's got a question to ask her, or she says... He's like, I want to take you away, or something like that, and
he says that they're going to live. They're going to live together. And
he asked her to marry him, but he never said those words.
He wants to have something with her. Basically, I'll get to it a little later, but he's asking her he's saying that they're going to have a life together where they're going to live together, they're going to go places, they're going to see places that she never would see, but she sees a lot of places on this cruise ship, let me tell you.
She definitely sees the same places over and over again. So now Helen crawls back into bed after having
after a roll in the hay with Doc.
With Doc, she's like, oh.
And then Ellen starts asking her,
I need to go to sleep. And Ellen's like, well, I'm up.
Ellen says, like, did you end it with Doc? And she basically says yes, but then Ellen keeps asking questions.
Yep. And she does the eyebrow like,
mm-hmm. She's like questioning whether or not Helen really told Doc. Like she has like some suspicion.
Definitely. I guess it shouldn't have taken her 6 hours to break up with him. That's probably what she's thinking.
Yeah. It's like, why so long? Yeah. And then she said she wanted to do it the right way.
And so now we cut back to Doc.
Is giving himself like a pep talk.
I am exhausted. He's like,
so that means he's been in the. She might have had the full 6 hours with Doc that time.
Had the full 6, and he just keeps talking to himself in the mirror. How exhausted am I? I am real exhausted. I need a nap. Don't I need a nap? How tired am I? I'm so tired.
Doc gave her the 6, if you know what I'm saying.
So
Doc's door gets knocked on again. And he goes over and opens it, and who is this that walks in?
It's now it's Ellen.
Ellen, yeah.
With glasses.
She says she comes in and says she changed her mind. She doesn't want to break up.
And he's like, if that's breaking up,
and
like,
Doc's
what?
like, with the H. I don't know why I'm saying H now. I mean, I said a lot worse.
What the fickety fuck? Yeah. So now Ellen wants her time with the Doc, and Doc's like, but I'm so exhausted. It reminds me of
it's basically the same scene. She pushes him against the door. She hits the light, and
she turns off the light now. So now they're going out. And
I like to point out, sex the same way her sister does. Can we talk about that real quick? They're twins, and they have sex the same way.
Well, we don't see the actual act.
Well, I mean, she pushes him against the door, and
doesn't
the light
she
goes
say
up.
at one point there's too much lighting in here or something like that?
There is.
One of them said that at some point. I just like to point out Julie's stateroom compared to like not Isaac's Gopher's, who we've seen. Like she is living in the lap of luxury. Now listen, that might be a male female difference that she's just got hers decorated nicer,
and she might be higher up on the
maybe they
she could be senior cruise director. We don't know that.
I mean, Gopher's living. I think he has a pipe going through his room, and
also Julie's pajamas, they are very nice. She has silk pajamas on. So we have Julie.
I am not a fan of silk, man. I don't know. I have too many rough spots on my body, I guess.
Julie in her cabin, she calls Buddy.
This looks like a hotel
with her
room.
eye patch.
She has a hotel. Yeah, right. She's in her room by herself, and she's still wearing the eye patch. Like, why?
I guess Doc just doesn't want anything to get infected into it or get it infected.
Is it just for?
I think it's just because it's easier, and it shows. Oh, she's still injured. Because we get to see all of them injured. Right. You see the sling,
an eye patch is usually just for your own vanity.
But that eye patch is weird. That's the beige one. We're back to the beige one again.
Well, that's her nighttime.
It's like a Band-Aid one.
That's her nighttime one. The black one's for dancing. And
she asks Buddy here if he actually asked her to marry him,
which he did not, and
he's quiet and doesn't really respond. Julie hangs up and
she cries. She's very upset. She knows it's the same old with this guy.
He was basically saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you that.
You get your
couple of days, and that's it." Yeah.
Doc would do well with the 2-day rule with these two twins.
We get the ship arriving back home.
One day, Ellen another day.
Ship arriving home.
All the rest he wants.
Passengers are exiting. We get Gopher running up, and he runs into Julie, who basically brushes off Gopher when he asks if
he popped the question.
If he popped the question, yeah. And she tells him, yes, he did.
Yeah.
She lies to him.
But not the question she wanted to hear. She says that.
No, she lies to him first. She comes back and tells him.
Okay. Yeah. So he asked the question. He popped the question, but not the question she wanted popped.
Yep. So she tells him that he asked the question, and then she walks away, and then Gopher and Isaac are talking. Again, this is where Mrs. Stanfield comes into play. She's looking for Buddy. Some beautiful blonde.
Yeah, so now we haven't seen this woman the entire episode. Now
nope, she's just. It looks like she's in L.A. to pick him up.
It's so funny. Isaac describes him as like about this tall. Like how many people on this boat are about this tall? Like half the people on the boat are this tall.
And there's like some comments back and forth before they really find out that she's his wife, and they are kind of.
They've only been married.
They're kind of happy knowing that they could tell Julie this now.
They've only been married a couple months, so he didn't lie that he wasn't married to that Barbara woman that he had
because
been
they
with.
said we thought he was divorced, and she said, "Oh, he was. I snagged him up real quick." She said,
I think if I ever was to meet, what's Isaac's real name?
Ted Lang.
Ted Lang. If I was at a convention and I met Ted Lang, I would get him to sign a neck brace.
Oh,
That would what I
with a
want.
bow tie on
Yes,
it.
oh, of course, yes. I'd be like, I want this.
I want you to sew the bow tie onto it. I want that is such a great idea. I love that idea. And Ted Lang does do Chiller and Monster
Does he do those things? And the
yeah.
next time he's at one of those things, I want to meet him and have him sign a neck
Because
brace.
we got Chachi coming up in October.
Oh man, my wife is going to definitely make us go see that.
I want to get Chachi too because I got Henry Winkler, so we got to get Chachi.
Do you have like a poster with?
I have Henry Winkler signed. He has an album. It was like all hits from the 50s.
Nice.
And it's like
a Shatner
kind of like
no,
he doesn't sing them.
Oh,
it's just songs that he picked like in his jukebox.
Oh, okay.
And I got him to sign it. He wrote "Jason is cool." Henry Winkler.
He doesn't say A on there.
Yeah, it would have been so cool if he said A. But he gave me a hug when I met him, and he was really nice.
I hear nothing but awesome things.
He hugged. It was me and my cousin Christina, and like we were the first two in line waiting for him. And it was at the Philadelphia Wizard World. And when he came over, it was just like there were so many people, and he gave like we had a couple minutes with him. Like we
didn't
had
just rush it through it and yada yada.
Usually they're behind the table. He was in front of the table, and he talked for a few minutes to everybody.
That is awesome.
And
that
then
he was that good a person.
He was really fun. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want him as my lawyer, but he is just a great guy.
And it's Chachi's blah blah blah. Right?
And he is Barry
Peppercorn.
Peppercorn? Is that what it is? Peppercorn?
Nah, what is Peppercorn? Why am I thinking Barry?
Barry, God, whatever his name is on Arrested Development. His lawyering is just god awful. He's one of those guys that, like, you saw him on Happy Days and then nothing for a long, long time. And I know he did like directing and all that kind of stuff. But when he showed up on Arrested Development, I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome that Henry Winkler's back.
And how great he was on Barry.
Oh, he's awesome on Barry. And he did a lot of Sandler movies. It's so weird. Like, you would think he'd be better than that. But, everybody needs a paycheck. I don't deny anybody making their living the way they want to make their living.
Barry Zuckercorn. I said Peppercorn.
You were very close. Yeah,
I said Peppercorn. I don't know what Peppercorn sounds like something, though.
I think that's what you use as pepper, right? Aren't those peppercorns that you grind up?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. My buddy Barry Peppercorn.
When's the new Barry season coming out?
That's a good question because I might rewatch those too.
Ted Lasso started the other day. Man, they did not miss a beat.
I didn't watch season 1.
Oh, well, whatever. Ted Lasso is awesome.
Is it
season
good?
2 is just as awesome.
Season 2's out already.
Just came out last Friday.
It feels like season 1 was just blowing up, and then all of a sudden it's season 2.
It's all good.
All right, so Julie comes back and tells Gopher that she admits that she lied earlier, and he asked a question, but he didn't ask the right question. And she said that he wanted a relationship again with no commitment. And Gopher and Isaac kind of happy, because they don't have to tell her about the
other woman.
The other woman, yeah.
Although I think they should have anyway. I probably would have.
I think I would have too.
I probably would have been like, by the way, his wife just showed up, so meh. I was trying to do you good, and you still were acting like a bitch. So
yeah, right. And then
I can't let anything drop. I have to be an asshole about everything.
The captain pulls Julie aside.
Yeah, what's he saying to her here?
All I have is he pulls her aside and he tells her to carry on. Carry on, Miss McCoy.
Carry on, Miss McCoy. Is this where he's going on vacation? Is that yet
he's
here?
That's not yet. We have to see one more scene before that happens.
Okay.
With Ellen, yeah. I apologize, but I think this was just her telling him that she's not getting married and not going
she's not
away
leaving
yet.
the ship.
And then we get Ellen coming down the stairs, and she greets Doc to say goodbye to him. She says she loves him. He gives her phone number from work and gives him a kiss.
And this is Ellen. She's wearing glasses, and she's been fulfilled on this cruise. She got some.
She was
Doc
the one
action.
she was the last one to have sex with
You're right.
him. Yeah.
So she's probably still in the throes.
And then Doc's talking to
like,
Julie about.
Damn right.
It's amazing. I'm so fucking awesome. I got this beautiful girl.
And
she wore me out. And she's back. Look.
And they're even wearing the same thing with the flower in their hair, leaving the boat. Like at this point,
so now Helen's
kick
back.
you off the boat. You should wear whatever you want.
So Helen arrives and says, "I want you to call me at work as well." Gives her her work phone
and
number.
Doc is like,
and
look, I got a girl that's got
two work phone numbers.
He's like, I got a girl that's got
two jobs. He was really excited about that, and he's showing Julie. Look at this. She's got 2 jobs, and he's got the two phone numbers, and he's holding the pieces of paper up, and the wind takes him, which you saw coming a mile away. Well, and that's another TV trope. Why are you dangling these over a boat Those things would have been in my pocket so fast.
How do they film this? They have a big fan off camera. They're blowing the wind,
but it couldn't have been too big of a fan because it kind of like went slow.
Their hair didn't go flying all over the place.
It was like almost like a feather, kind of the way it fell.
Now they went to commercial. When they came back from the commercial, I was convinced they had to have a scene where Doc was looking over the boat and he saw the two girls walking away, like to their car, and he had a moment. He had a moment of, oh, now it all makes sense. But they never did that. Like
that would have been good.
I thought that's what we were going to. When they went to the commercial and they came back, I'm like, okay, they showed a picture of the princess in port.
Nope, we get the captain.
I was like, oh, this is where Doc's going to see the girls together, and he's going to be like, first he's going to be like, what, and then it's going to all crystallize. He's going to be like, yes, twins.
That would have been nice, but they ended her story already, and we're about to get the ending of the Scarecrow and Mrs. Nelson.
Yep,
and we get the captain coming down. He tells Gopher and Isaac that he's going with his buddy on the big yacht.
Yeah.
That's right outside.
If I was the captain of a boat,
that is a nice yacht.
Last thing I would be doing is going on a boat on my vacation.
Yeah, let's go get a hotel room, relax.
Can I be on dry land for just a couple days? And it's funny, they say have a nice weekend. Boats use, well, I guess like I wonder if their weekend is like a Saturday to a Sunday.
What do you think? If it's a 5 or 7 day cruise and 3-4 days off, something like that, probably, right?
I wonder how that works. They go one right after. They really just kind of keep going, yeah.
Oh, that's. When did they take their days off? Did they get days off then? I mean,
well, they get
on the boat.
They get hours,
like months off,
but they get hours off when they're like in ports and places. Like you get the next 6 hours off, kind of thing. But yeah, when they're on vacation, they're off for a while.
Okay. So we get the captain saying he wants to go on the boat with his buddy, the yacht with his buddy, and then Julie comes out and says, the McDonald's come out, which is Scarecrow and Mrs. Nelson, and they want to say goodbye to the captain, and they were like, "Oh, he just left," and I think it was Julie who said, "No, he's right over there."
And they want to throw a jinx at him before he leaves. Yeah, that's what the doc or captain was saying before he left.
Yeah,
like, you people with your jinxes.
Yep,
like,
he was telling him, he's like, it's ridiculous. Everything was fine. Look,
which you know at that point, like, what's going to happen to him? Like,
they start shouting for the doc or captain as he has one foot on the boat. Why he doesn't just get on the boat, then look up? No, he puts the foot back on the dock, shouts up to them, gives a salute, and then walks into the water. It's a great splash.
It's so funny how the guy falling in the water is obviously not the captain, but then they do the close-ups of him where he's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then they see the guy falling. And once again, 30 years younger than Captain
Once again, we get everybody laughing. Yes. Nobody throws over a life preserver or anything.
He's the captain of a ship. He should know how to swim.
Yeah, but still, you would still send over a life preserver.
Does the boat swing back to pick him up and take him to his buddy's yacht? Yes, I'll be vacationing on my friend's yacht this weekend.
I want to say I thought this was a really fun episode.
I thought this was the best episode so far in regards to all the stories were fine.
Yeah,
there was no knucklehead plots. There was no some of these episodes have had plots where they're just so ridiculous. Now the twins thing borderlined on that, but
yeah, but I think it ended up playing out well.
It was still fun.
You know what? Because there was a lot of sex.
Yeah, I actually had one thought on that though. But when the second sister went down to bone Doc, wouldn't she have tasted her sister on her?
On what part of Doc's body is she tasting this?
Well, you know what they're going to do. Yeah. And Doc's not going to shower.
It's the 70s. Doc was just staring at himself in the mirror. Remember? He was just
Doc, you taste like my sister.
I'll give a little teaser for the special guests for next week because we like to do that, right?
We do.
So other than the regular scheduled cast, we have
good. They're on it next week. Good.
We have Steve Allen.
Steve Allen.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Sandy Duncan.
Nice.
Glass Eye Sandy Duncan. That is.
Okay.
Joanne Harris, Jim Stafford, Lonnie Anderson.
Oh.
Joshua Bryant, J.J. Sanders. James Bond III. I don't know.
James Bond III. I didn't know James Bond ever had kids.
Looking James Bond III up real quick. He's
obviously James Bond Jr.'s kid.
Looks like he's been in an episode of Wonder Woman, 1979. He's only been in 19 things. So we'll look. I'll look into him a little more.
So
before
Lonnie
next
Anderson,
Steve Allen, Sandy Duncan.
Okay.
And then there could be some other ones that we just don't know by name. Yeah,
like Ozzy and Harriet.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw Harriet Nelson, I was like, is that I thought Ozzy and Harriet, but then I was like, I don't know. And then I looked at the thing. She wasn't in a lot of things. I don't remember her doing a lot of things, but she must have made all her money.
Give me a 10-second plot synopsis on the show Ozzy and Harriet.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
I'm going to tell you it's this. It's a family in the 50s. They have kids, and it's the mother stays home. The dad wears a suit a lot.
That's Leave It to Beaver. So
it's
far.
also my two dad or no, my three sons.
Yeah.
The Dick Van Dyke Show, right?
They didn't have kids though, did they?
I think they did.
Did they?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of I Love Lucy too. I mean, Ricky went to work.
Yeah.
And she stayed home. But
cool story. Rob Reiner grabbed Mary Tyler Moore's ass on the set of
when he was a little kid, right?
Yeah, I think he was like 14 or
not
15.
Current day Rob Reiner.
Yeah, not an older man.
Dead.
Yeah.
Nice.
But apparently, and I think there's been other people that said she looked amazing in those capris or whatever she used to wear.
I saw a picture the other day of Mary Tyler Moore, Valerie Harper, Cloris Leachman, and Betty White all together on the set of
Betty's
whatever
the only
show.
one left, right?
And I'm like, Betty White is the only one left, and she's like 100, and
she's just about to, I think she's going to be 100.
I don't think she's doing. Yeah. I mean, I remember when she like made her grand return when she was like 80 something, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, Betty White's still alive!"
Remember?
And she was all over the place, and she was really with it. But I don't think she's
as
with it as she was.
To be out in public now. Yeah, I don't think.
Which
so.
is sad. Listen, it happens to everybody. Yeah. Either you keep getting older or you die.
Well, how ridiculous was when they showed the 102-year-old Kirk Douglas? Like he was like laying on a couch. It was really creepy.
Or like when they had him at the Academy Awards, he was like reading a speech, and Catherine Zeta-Jones had to basically translate for him. What are you doing to this poor guy? Like he can't speak anymore.
It's like, what did they get out of that? They don't get anything.
Oh my God, I hope my death is instantaneous, and not right now, but
Yeah, give him a few more years.
Give me. I don't want to say how many years I want. I want at least 25 more years. Yeah. 30 would be nice. I'll sign right now for 30 years.
Also,
should we end this podcast? Start the next podcast.
It's also 30 years. It's like, how am I going to be in 30 years? Let me know. Do I want to make it 29 years?
Well, you're right. I mean, I'm in shitty shape now. Like, I can only imagine what 30 years from now would be on me now. Oh, it won't be fun.
This has been Exciting and New Podcast.
Exciting and New.
I'm Jason. My Twitter handle is Jazoo74.
This is Andy. My Twitter handle is Exciting and New. I think that's what our Twitter handle is.
Yeah, I think that it's Exciting and New with underscores in between the two, in between and.
However you find your Twitter stuff, put Exciting and New in, and that'll show us. And who else do we have?
And I'm Brian.
And what's your Twitter handle?
I don't know what mine is.
What about your twiddle?
Twiddle handle?
It's not so twiddle.
Oh, I've seen it. It's twiddle.
I forget what it is. It's something different.
Catty.
Yeah.
Something catty. Papa Bad Catty.
Oh, Papa Bad Kitty.
Papa Bad Kitty.
Papa Bad Kitty.
That sounds like a
Twitter.
A Twitter address of a mature adult.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Join our Patreon.